as soon as the statement came out, we all came together and formed this conference call for what's going on. We were all really, really upset. So we all came together and formed a letter to Pat McCrory. So I'll read the letter for y'all. The North Carolina Student Power Union stands firmly in opposition to Governor McCrory's discriminatory and problematic commentary on higher education in North Carolina. Defining successful education solely within a flawed framework of economic efficiency is harmful and dismisses the experience of thousands who have received a liberal arts education in North Carolina, me being one of them. We are students who believe that our education is more than a mere financial exchange for career training and credentialism, but rather a process for liberation and empowerment. Our education should uplift people's histories, be rooted in community struggles, and instill a sense of purpose within students to work towards social justice. Defunding or eliminating women gender studies programs, cultural studies programs, and other departments, centers dedicated to studies of historically marginalized groups erases the histories of those groups from our universities. Women's centers, LGBTQ centers, cultural centers, and such departments must be fully funded and preserved. These programs and centers compel students to think critically about existing social inequities, a level of critical thinking which is increasingly important in building a better world. Youth empowerment and underemployment are not caused by liberal arts degrees. Rather, these are consequences of cuts to public education, cuts to public service, and the free rein which banks and Wall Street have been allowed to have on our economy. The North Carolina Student Power Union will continue to fight to defend higher education in the public sector in our state from forces that seek to perpetuate systems of oppression and inequity. Education is a right, not a privilege.
My name is Matthew Turpin. I'm a sophomore here at UNC Asheville. I'm current president of Alliance, the LGBTQ plus student group on campus. I think they greatly broadened my education here at UNC Asheville. The strict requirements for graduating. I love the humanities programs here, and I think it gives like a broad view of human history and allows you to further connect the dots between issues. It's making it more valuable in the workforce because you can look at things from a past and present point of view. I think you have a more understanding of how things came to be and more opinions on, or more theories to that approach on how we got here now, and then that gives you a better view on how to move things forward.
I'm Matt Leonard, and I'm applying to UNC Asheville as a transfer student. I decided to transfer to UNC Asheville because I liked the fact that it had the liberal arts curriculum and the fields of study, but it had the state school funding and resources. I felt like those two came together and created a really cool atmosphere here at UNC Asheville.
It's value in the workforce because sexuality and gender are issues that people have to navigate on a daily basis and that have huge foundations in the building of our society. How I think we should stop the current attacks on our UNC system is I believe we should have different people in our North Carolina State Legislature. Particularly the Republicans need to be voted out of the North Carolina General Assembly. They appoint people to the Board of Governors, and recently a lot of business people have been appointed to the Board of Governors, in which I don't believe that's appropriate for business leaders to be leading our educational system. They seem to think that there has to be a link between what you're learning and a specific job in the workforce, and that's not the point of a university from a historical standpoint and from a standpoint today. The point of a university is to educate the students that go there and to provide them with more concepts that they didn't have before entering university. And I think UNC Asheville does a great job with that, and also does a great job with employing its graduates.
My name is Eva Reynolds, and I'm an alumna of UNCA. I graduated in December of 2010 at the age of 47. Because of my own health issues and some things that I was facing. I had been out of the workforce for a long time. I had a 10-year gap in my work history. So at 47, after graduating from UNCA, with my major was psychology, my minor was women, gender, sexuality studies. I got a job. I graduated in December. I went to work in March, and ironically, my job is to help people with disabilities find jobs. So I'm really plugged into the Asheville community, and I work every day with folks who are trying to go back to work. And just recently, I belong to the Buncombe County Business Advisory Council, which is a group of people who come from different sectors, nonprofit, service world, also businesses, employers. And what we strive to do is to create programs and resources. When employers tell us that they have a need for a certain kind of thing, we try to work with AB Tech and some of the other facilities in the area to create curriculums.
I'm a freshman here and I'm from Georgia, but I decided to come to this school because it is a liberal arts school, and that's really not as common anymore, no matter where you are.
I'm a senior here and a sociology major. Many of my classes have would count toward a women's gender studies and sexuality studies major, and you know, it's not just that it's maybe not as directly tied to money as much. I mean, in terms of getting a workforce together that is able to get things done. You don't just need to know the set of skills that is relevant to the job. You also need to be able to communicate with people, and you need to be aware of the people that you're working with.
And part of my senior capstone project is to do a survey of the community that I work in, the Emma community. And I feel like without my knowledge of feminist studies, feminist readings, I wouldn't have the same knowledge going into creating my survey. So it's important for the work that I'm doing. It's important I'm hoping to go to graduate school and get my PhD. I'd love to be a professor one day. And it's so important to like my core being that I can't imagine not being without it. I transferred to UNCA my sophomore year. I was a photography major, but this program has just helped me so much, like with my personal being and my research and like my goals in life, and it's completely helped me become like a more full person, and I just can't imagine funding me take it away from it.